Yes, guys, make sure you're following the GBFC Telegram. The link is in the top of the description. In the end of this month, I'm going to be giving away one of my exclusive GBFC hoodies with only 100 of them made, coming to you guys on sale soon. As well as that, we've got a signed shirt by none other than Chelsea's main man, Cole Palmer. If you're not in the Telegram, you can't win. Link at the top of the description. Let's get cracking. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Luton away at Kenilworth Road, the final match that Chelsea will play in the year 2023. It's been a horrible year. Let's not beat around the bush here. We don't want to sugarcoat anything. Chelsea have been absolutely atrocious. From January through to May, it was absolutely awful. Graham Potter was sacked. Frank Lampard comes in. Nothing really happens. We get to the end of the season and we are relieved about it. There's then a few months where we're looking around, we're thinking, looks like we're going to spend a load of money again this summer. We do that. We get Mauricio Pochettino, a man that we thought was going to take us, not really sure where, to be fair. Maybe the top 6, maybe the top 4. Maybe some of us thought we'd win the bloody league. We're sat there at the moment in mid-table mediocrity, and that's pretty much what we deserve. That is the facts. Luton Town probably have had the best 2023 in their whole entire existence as a football club. The best year you could ask for. You get promoted out of the Championship against all the odds. An incredible story from basically non-league football all the way to the promised land of the Premier League. And not only that, but since they've arrived in the Premier League, they've done pretty well, guys. Let's not beat around the bush here. I expected Luton potentially to be kind of like a Robbie Savage's Derby County level of Premier League team. I didn't think they were going to get many points at all. They're not doing great in terms of if the league ended now, they would still be relegated. But at the same time, when it comes to the way that they play at Kenilworth Road, they nearly got something against Arsenal. They did beat Newcastle. They nearly got something against Man City. They have been very good at home. They make things very, very difficult. The intimate nature of what this stadium is probably the most unattractive looking banana skin for a Chelsea team that have struggled so much with having a bit of grit, with having a bit of steel. We could absolutely go to Luton and succumb to this close-knit environment that they have at Kenilworth Road, where they're all fighting for one another. They're fighting for their lives at the bottom of the Premier League. The question is, do these Chelsea players that clearly have a bit more quality individually than Luton, do they have what it takes to actually play like a team? Do they have what it takes to not allow the situation within that stadium get into their brains to absolutely capitulate, which we have seen on far too many occasions this season? The form at Stamford Bridge in 2023 has been atrocious. It's been a worry. Now, it's every time we go away from home, we literally look like the team that have been invited in from flipping Hogwarts to have a friendly. That's what it's like. It's like we're playing against creatures that aren't quite the same as us. We're inferior in every single sense of the imagination. The game against Wolves just before Christmas was the last away game that we played. I was so upset with that. I think that was up there in the same realm as the Newcastle away, the Man United away performances. Just feeble. Absolutely no positives to take apart from Nkunku when he came on, changed the game. Kind of, but we still concede a second and then he scores a consolation. Crystal Palace at home, it is a good result within mediocrity. We didn't play great, but once again, it's players that weren't even playing that make the difference. It was Nkunku at Wolves, it was Noni Madueke in the game against Crystal Palace. So, with that being said, I've gone with a similar style to the team that we saw in the last game against Palace. I've gone with a 4-2-3-1. Enzo's obviously going to be out for a while. There's also a lot of other injuries currently keeping players out of the team. And Raheem Sterling, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but I do think there is going to be an element from Pochettino of there are certain players right now that just cannot be ignored and have to play for us. And at the same time, we're still trying to balance fitness and everything else because we've got FA Cup games coming up and then there's still a busy January to play in the Premier League. So we're going to begin with the goalkeeper, who is, of course, Petrovic for this game at Luton. Sanchez is still not back and ready, but I would say that when Sanchez is back and ready, I think there's not, right as of right now, and I don't want to jinx this, as you guys always remind me, But I will say that I think there is a world where Petrovic keeps hold of this number 1 spot for now. I don't want to say anything more because I don't want him to have an absolute mare here against Luton, and then we're basically just like begging for the transfer window to open. And if we don't buy a goalkeeper, then we're begging for Sanchez to come back in. And I've just said enough about Sanchez this season to know that I'm not at the stage yet where I'm going to beg for him to be the Chelsea goalie again. We move into a back 4. The fullbacks, Malo Gusto and Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva and Benoit Badiashile. At the moment, there's not really much we can do. Pochettino clearly doesn't see Ian Maatsen as a left-back, so that's why when Maatsen plays, he's a right winger. Like, there's so much disparity there between those two things. So Levi Colwill, despite being the man at fault for the Palace goal, I would argue that he was the most at-fault player. Caicedo, you could also potentially argue there, but I would say Levi Colwill is still learning how to be a left-back. It's not his fault or Poch's fault that there is no Cucurella available, no Ben Chilwell available. So Levi plays there. Benoit Badiashile, I think, is probably the best centre-back at the club right now. Thiago Silva, it's a decline that's happening. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think having seen Disasi start the game, I think Silva will start this one. I think this is one of those which will be the balancing act that Pochettino has to go through between we can't start every match because we're worried about more injuries and you rested at the start of the last one, blah, blah. You go vice versa. There is still a great player in Thiago Silva. There really is. I just do worry in games like this one where Luton will try and use that physicality which they've had to use to try and dominate teams at times this season, particularly aerially from set pieces. Chelsea need to be on the ball here. Malo Gusto is currently a huge shining light in a Chelsea team that just do concede a lot of goals, look very poor at the back. Malo Gusto, I think, is a fantastic footballer. And with Reece James seemingly being out forever at this point, obviously we hope him all the best for the recovery, but there's no end in sight right now as to how long he's going to be out for. So Malo Gusto, please stay fit. We are going to desperately need you. Moving into a midfield pivot of Moises Caicedo and Conor Gallagher. Romeo Lavia. I think there is definitely a world where Romeo Lavia can play in this game. And I think Gallagher is undroppable because he just keeps on turning in really good performances. Caicedo, if he's fit, I think he keeps on playing. There is a world where this could be a 4-3-3 that sees a midfield of Lavia, Gallagher, and also Caicedo in there. But again, with the amount of injuries that Chelsea have had, the amount of minutes that Lavia has not had this season as a result of injuries, I think in a physical match against a Luton team that will try and bully Chelsea, I think Lavia off the bench to change shape and change things up, if necessary, is the best way to go to preserve, hopefully, not allowing Lavia to have another injury coming his way once again. We move into a front 4 here that I think is really exciting, and it kind of goes against something that I've said in today's earlier video where I spoke about Christopher Nkunku not being an out-and-out striker and being so important to Chelsea as a link-up player between that midfield and the furthest man forward. However, I want to see something happen here which sees Cole Palmer and Christopher Nkunku both operating in central areas. So on the right wing, I've got Noni Madueke, who I think absolutely deserves a start after clearly changing the game in the second half when he came on against Palace. And Mykhailo Mudryk on the left, who is in good form right now and is improving every single game. Mykhailo Mudryk, he just needs to keep on playing and keep on scoring. And the way that Pochettino has been managing us recently when it comes to the lineups and then in-game management, I wouldn't be surprised for 1 second if there is no Mudryk and no Madueke in the starting 11. But what I will say is it is the substitutions right now and players that aren't starting that are coming on and making a massive quality difference for Chelsea. It was Christopher Nkunku at Wolves where when he came on, we actually looked like we could do something and he scored a goal. Noni Madueke against Crystal Palace, he's just got this confidence. I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's tactical implementation, but I go as far as to say that so far this season, we've not really seen any kind of stylistic progression too much, I'd say, under Mauricio Pochettino. So to say that Madueke is just like not capable of doing what he's asked doesn't make sense when he plays, he looks electric. Last season under Lampard, he looked good. Got a goal at the flipping Emirates when we were getting demolished. So I would say this is Noni Madueke's time. There's a lot of people saying that, yeah, he's probably going to go out on loan in this January transfer window, which, to be fair, when you've only played 119 minutes since Pochettino came in, I totally understand, despite the injury, why Madueke would not want to be here at Chelsea. However, we do need a bit of quality. He's got a bit of star quality. He's got the confidence to take players on, to run at players. And Chelsea are pretty in desperate need of that right now. We need someone to get us off the edge of our seats, make things happen. Mudryk as well. I think with Cole Palmer, absolutely capable of drifting out wide. Christopher Nkunku the same. I think having two focal points of Palmer and Nkunku here can make it very difficult for Luton to know what's coming. It can allow Misha to come in off that left wing, join the attack in the middle. I just think in terms of dynamism, electric quality, and also like proper quality in the final third. I'm sorry, Nicholas Jackson. Thought your movement was good against Palace, but I'm so tired of only saying that when it comes to a striker in my Chelsea team. Let's give Nkunku a go here. Playing through the middle, having someone like Cole Palmer who's able to get that ball on the edge of the area and find him. Let's see how this one goes. Madueke and Mudryk deserve to be starting. That's why they're both starting for me. Let me know your thoughts on this Chelsea 11 in the comments down below. Does this work against Luton? Let me know your thoughts on that one too. And stay tuned tomorrow after the game. I will be doing 6 things we learned for you guys straight after this. It's an early kickoff on a Saturday. So even though it's kind of late for me still, that video will be coming out. So stay tuned to that one. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you are new. As I said at the beginning, Telegram links in the description. And I'll catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.